We are the Fashion Daddies.
Okay, Fashion Daddy Nick. Are you ready for another episode of Ice Style?
Hi, Daddy David. Of course, I'm always ready for ice style and figure skating costumes.
It is the season for figure skating, and sometimes it can prove to be quite a challenge to keep up with it all. It's a commitment to watch, every single Grand Prix series.
Yes, but at least we have Peacock. We pay for that. And NBC, I guess we pay for that too because of cable. And I have to say, because in the old days, I used to blog about all of this.
Yeah.
Week after week after week after week. And I was still doing all the other 86,000 things that I was doing, and I'm still doing those things. It's just a different kind of blogging, I have to say. I was going to say this is easier. It's about the same, really, as opposed to writing it all down.
It is pretty much the same, yeah. The challenge for me is, you almost need a spreadsheet to know where to go to watch. If you're trying to watch on cable, it's on NBC, it's on E, it's on USA Network, all the NBC Universal affiliates. Mm-hmm. So thank goodness for Peacock.
Right, you can go there.
We go there, but even that, it expires within a certain amount of hours. I don't know, it's like 3 days.
And this happened this time around where the satellite was super sketchy, and it was like at one point I made a comment to Daddy David. I said, I feels as if I'm watching an old VHS videotape.
Yeah.
Like all that static and kind of like a record scratching, and it just didn't make for the skating to be enjoyable for me.
No. It's just always a struggle. I don't know if other sports are always like this.
I know.
But there is always some form of challenge. It just shows you how committed we are as fans. When I say us, I don't just mean you and me. I mean all of us.
Everybody. On that note, I was really happy when I went on my Twitter sphere and saw, one of our fellow figure skating aficionados, rocket skating.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, rocket skating. And he posted an image, I guess it was a meme of one of the skaters, the male skaters. By the way, a thing they do now is they go right up to the judges and do like a and scare them. They pretend not to be scared. You should see those judges are like, it's a Tuesday. But they were like, ooh. If they've not really seen it before. Anyhow, he posted a meme of one of the male skaters going like that. And the caption that he wrote was like, me while the satellite is glitching or something to that effect. So I was like, oh, it wasn't just our cable system. Thank you very much.
No. And that's where you start. You think it's you, and you reboot and you turn it off and you're just like, oh, I just want to watch.
I know. Speaking of watching, let's get to the nice things, to costumes.
Yes.
Okay.
So we watched it all, beginning to end. Every short program, every free skate.
And this was Skate Canada.
Yes.
International. So we've gone to France, we've gone to China, and now we are in Canada. All the frequent flyer points that these coaches and skaters must have, I want, by the way. That's just a BTW. But so we're in Canada, and I just want to say it because I love saying this, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Oh, nice.
Is that right?
I don't know.
I think so. That's where it was, by the way. That was where Skate Canada.
I knew Saskatchewan.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yes, the exact city? Province?
Saskatoon. That's the province. Saskatchewan is the province. Saskatoon, I believe, is the city. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about ladies.
Okay.
We're going to talk about men. Mm-hmm. And pairs.
Yes.
And ice stunts.
Okay,
we're going to try and get this quickly.
Okay.
And when I mean quickly, I mean half an hour. But I want you Daddy David, to pronounce the names of each and every one of the skaters that we will talk about. So you start with the names, and I will continue with the research and my, I guess you would say, my 2 cents in regards to the costumes. Go.
Okay. I always rely on Nick for pronunciations, but I will do it. We're going to start with Lara Naki. I already messed up. Lara Naki Gutman.
That's great.
I just didn't have to read it. I could just say it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so Lara Naki Gutman is from Italia, from Italy. And if you Google her name, just put Lara Naki Gutman, and then the fourth thing that will be next to her name is Jaws. And there's a reason. And you might be like, what the heck? It's because her free skate, she skated, well, the first half of her music was to Jaws. And this was the first time that I saw it, actually. And I remember sort of being, is she really skating to Jaws? And then all of a sudden the music comes on and you hear the dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh, I mean, if you know, first there's Conclave, there's Daniel Gra. What is with these Italians?
They like drama.
And camp.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm here for it. Anyway, so she skated to part of her skate. The soundtrack was Jaws. And in the first half, she says she represents a shark. Really? And she is the predator.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, the theme. And it also shows in the costume, I have to say. The second part of the music isn't from Jaws. And I think she said it's more about the water theme. The idea of the whole theme of Jaws came from her coach, Gabrielle, who they're probably, you know, they love some camp. And it was choreographed by Stéphane Lambiel.
Oh, nice.
Who's an icon, right?
Yes.
Where was he from? Was he France? Switzerland? I know it was kind of French adjacent, kind of. Well, they also, one of the official languages in Switzerland is French.
Yes.
I think it's German, French, and Italian.
I'm sure he's French.
Yes. Anyway, the costume. All right. Okay, think Jaws. Okay, so it's blue. It's like ocean blue, and it has strategic cutouts in Nude Illusion. But that wasn't all. There are silver and red crystals strewn throughout, and there's some sort of a design on the costume itself, which looks on the side as if a shark came up to her and got her, because you see almost the edges, the sharp edges of shark teeth on the side, designed into the outfit. And then the red crystals, which is obviously, I would venture to guess, is the blood. But it's very subtle-ish. And I was here for it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was the best part, is that they didn't hit you over the head with it.
Because the music already does.
Yeah. You didn't need something so literal as a shark, or
can you imagine
teeth of a shark, or like a shark.
Stop.
So it was very subtle. It was very beautiful.
Yeah.
In fact, I will say her short program and her free skate, she has two of the best costumes.
Yeah, really
of
nice
season.
costumes.
She's very well put together.
Yeah, but there's more. The best part of her entire look actually is when you looked close up, or they did close-ups of her makeup and her face. So she didn't just end it all with the crystal costume, Jaws-inspired look. She continued it and really finished it off and put a point on it in her eye makeup, which was done in the shape of fins. So she had the eyeliner, and then it went boop like that. And I was like, ooh, girl, the gays are giving you 10 out of 10.
She did it. She did it.
Okay.
All right. Next up. Bradie Tennell. That's easy to pronounce.
I was going to say, you better not mess this one up. Okay, so we're going to talk about both her show program and her free dance.
Okay.
And her show program was to music by Lana Del Rey, Young and Beautiful. And I have to say that her costume was just that, particularly beautiful to me. It was a sublime one-shoulder powder blue costume, and it had a high mock neck, and I would say you could consider it one shoulder. It had a one sleeve, and then an open back, and these beautiful clusters of crystals that started at the neck, kind of heavy, but not too heavy, and then gradated down towards her torso, and then just ended up in a nice little flirty skirt. It was subtle, sublime. It was elegant. It reminded me of the sky, and yeah, it fit who Bradie Tennell is to a T. There was just enough of something, but not too muchy of everything.
Yeah, I mean, if most of you might remember, if you're a fan, that she was the princess. She was almost like the Disney princess when she first started on the ice. She was very young, and she has evolved and gotten more mature. Yeah. And her costumes have gotten more mature along with her. She's very elegant. Yes, with her poise and her presentation, and the costume was perfect for that. Yeah, I was kind of debating on, do I want two sleeves? Do I like the one sleeve? Right. I was like literally on the TV, I was like blocking out one arm to see if I could be like, do I like it if it had gone?
By the way, tell us in your comments if you're doing the same thing. Okay.
And I don't know. I honestly, in the end, I couldn't decide. I thought, no, I think I like the one sleeve because it made it a little more edgy, a little more fashion. So.
I was just going to say edgy. I like that the old Bradie probably would have not done that, or I don't know. It would, remain consistently princessy and eleganza. But I think now the I don't want to say new Bradie, but the more mature Bradie, I think she is edgier. And I think her choreographer has a lot to do with that. But I think also probably herself. But I do see that edginess in the costumes and the risk-taking that she didn't, I don't think, used to do.
No, for sure.
All right, Free Dance.
Yes.
The Free Dance, and this was to the Mission soundtrack by Ennio Morricone. And I loved it. I really, really loved it. If you don't know the Mission, it's about the colonials and the Native American and coming into the New World, quote unquote, into the Western Hemisphere. And, the mission, like establishing a mission. And so there's a lot of that happening in there. And, a lot of skaters skate to this music.
Yes.
And there's different costume interpretations to that, whether they go full like Spanish colonial or they go Native American, Native, indigenous looking. And she went with, I think it's a more abstract indigenous costume. The costume, by the way, I'm going to describe it. It had outlines of a corset, and it was done almost in an indigenous motif. It looked almost like hand-painted brush strokes, and you see it at the top. And that was a nod, I totally believe, to the music, because it almost looked like feathers. The feathers that you would see, like the tribal leaders. You would see that on her. So I love that.
And we should say it's like a cafe latte, a cafe au lait color. I don't want to say tan.
No.
Tan is not right.
No.
And it was just sort of cafe au lait.
Totally.
With brown. The brush strokes were in a chocolate brown.
Yeah, it was vanilla latte.
Vanilla latte.
She gave us vanilla latte.
Yes.
But also it took it to another edgy aspect of the design where there was an asymmetrical drape it climbed up on one side, wrapping around her torso, and then almost, I hate to say this, but visually almost strangled her, but didn't. Yeah. Because to me, it almost looked like an asymmetrical draped necklace on her. And it was so unusual, so different. And I just loved it. So there was that. And then all of a sudden you look again and there's more. And there's this cluster of jeweled sequins, copper, gold, different colors, right at the sort of waist area and then at the wrist. So then there was also that. The costume itself to me almost told a tale of going into this new land and discovering the jewels and then discovering the colors that you would see and the beautiful indigenous art.
Yeah.
I'm just going with that.
Yes, yes. And I didn't want to give it away when I was talking about the short program, but this she did do the 2 sleeves. So it was, and once I saw that, I thought, oh, okay, I like the 1 sleeve for that, and the 2 sleeves for this, all the way down. And when I say sleeves, I don't just mean sleeves. It goes all the way into gloves, almost like, you know, it's all one piece, which is a very now figure skating thing.
It elongates the line, the extensions, you know, that you always hear the commentators going, she's got amazing extension. She's got great extension, right? Is that something that they say?
It is. It is. Okay. And it just was modern, and it told the tale the minute she stepped onto the ice. So it was great. Okay.
In a non-costumey way.
In a non-costumey way. For sure. Had that fashion.
All right, here we go. You've got a name.
Okay.
Go.
Now we're going to go to the men.
Yes, we're doing men.
Alexander Selevko. Of Estonia.
There you go.
Also known by Johnny Weir as Sasha.
Yeah, I guess, yes. That's a nickname for Alexander. He's like, oh, there's Sasha. I'm like, who? Where? I thought it was Alexander. Anywho, I want to talk about his free skate. First of all, we love him, right?
Yeah.
And he was a standout here at Skate Canada International. I believe he got the silver, right? And he has a brother who also skates and competes for Estonia.
That's the side note, non-costume side note, is there's only 1 spot for Estonia for the Olympics.
Because they're not as I don't want to say as important, as big as US or Canada or China.
You have up to 3 spots for the major countries. So they, you know, and that if you don't rank through in the world.
And there's only so many skaters from Estonia.
Yeah.
And there's more probably in the US and Canada.
Yes, and it's how you rank in the world championships, but we won't get into that.
Okay.
But his brother is a figure skater, he's a figure skater, and they're both competing for the 1 spot in the Olympics.
Ooh, that's a documentary.
Yeah. So kudos to Alexander for doing so well, because he's already, you know, got a medal at the Grand Prix.
Here's a really dumb question. Who's cuter? Sorry.
Do we know? I don't really know.
Okay, tell us in your comments who you think is cuter. Okay, that's who I would pick. Okay. All right, his costume, his free skate is what I really liked, and it was a free skate to Adagio for strings and Storm by Nico Cartosio, and The Longest Night in Limbo by also Nico Cartosio. Now, the music itself is kind of melancholic, emotional, very dramatic. There was a music video, and the music video was really dark, and there were people in it that they were all tattooed and shaved head, and it was just like this apocalyptic vision of a world, very kind of future Dune-like. Not what he wore. Just to let you know. So what did he wear? First, the top. He had a top, a stretchy top, long sleeve, and it was tie-dye. And it featured lots of colors in the tie-dye, as tie-dye is wont to do, in black, gold, pink, and there were red colors as well. He wore the requisite male figure skating black pants, but it was really the top that I was intrigued by, especially because then on top of that tie-dye print, there were these bands, these metallic gold-like bands that were wrapped around his body, around the upper torso, the chest, and they were done sideways. They wrapped around in the side, and then I believe it went into his arm. But I like it. I like the tie-dye. I like the wrapped metallic bands, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it is the typical figure skating top that I think Nathan Chan was known for. The long sleeve stretch printed top. So
and the tie-dye, like the tie-dye is going to be the tie-dye. Tie-dye is like the male crystals.
Yeah. And so it was traditional and sort of, you know, what you'd expect in that aspect, but the draped gold pieces, almost like ribbon wrapped around him and down his arm, definitely added a little something to it. And it went so well with his blonde hair. There was something about how dark the shirt was, even though it had the pink and the red, but it was a base of black and the black pants. But then he added the gold ribbon,
a shot of gold,
and
blonde ribbon,
and it worked. Yeah, it looked good. Okay. Next up, we are going to do.
Another pronunciation. We're doing pairs, and we're doing the gold medal winning pair team of
Deanna Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Dechamps.
Bravo. You get an A.
Yes.
Okay. We love this team for many reasons, but mainly in particular because we are obsessed. Can I say we?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you know what I'm going to say?
No. But I'm obsessed with anything figure skating, so I'm just going to agree.
Okay, well, I'm obsessed with Deanna Stellato-Dudek.
Yeah.
Because she is, to me, she is a diva. And OMG. She is, for figure skating age, they consider her more mature.
I mean, it's like it's amazing.
How old is she?
She's 42 years old.
Okay, which young'uns.
Yeah.
Even to us. Okay, she's younger than us. But for figure skating,
for pairs,
grandma.
Pairs, you're usually retiring in around 30. So that's amazing. And she had a career as a singles women's skater.
Yeah.
And then retired and then came back because she decided she wasn't done.
No.
And has a whole new career as a pair skater with multiple partners.
Yes.
So she's amazing.
And,
I mean, unbelievable.
Fit as a fiddle. And I know this is a very David Paul vintage saying. I think in our last podcast you said something about selling like hotcakes.
Yes.
So now I'm going to give you a vintage saying. She is tone. I mean, she could run a whole, I don't know, sports program with that body of hers. And so she's showing the kids, honey. She is showing the kids. But not just that, because when she comes on stage, you can't take your eyes away, because she gives you Maria Callas. She gives you see it in her face. If it's something about romance, she is passion. If it's something about pain, I'm crying with her. All right. We're going to discuss the two programs, short program as well as the free. Okay. And by the way, they're from Canada. They represent Canada. And the short music is Carmina Burana, which you have to know what that is. In fact, Daddy David, I believe you did costumes back at UCLA when you were doing your master's. Am I wrong? Or something like that.
You remember that?
You did something. Yeah. You did something for Carmina Burana.
Yes, it was all just sketches. I didn't actually make the costumes, but we did Carmina Burana, and I had all sorts of sketches from Carmina Burana.
Nice. If you don't know the music, it's powerful. It's drama. It's dramatic, and the costumes reflected this. She wore what I think is a great ombre shaded gray, black, and red costume, and it had some see-through elements in it, and of course it had the requisite crystals. To me, it was very Firebird. It was something like she could have done a Firebird program to this costume, which I know it's another piece of music, but what I really liked was Maxime Deschamps, because to me he was giving you sexy warrior, and he had this black skin tight costume underneath, which was a black turtleneck, black skin tight pants, but over it, first of all, you see these huge epaulets that curve around his shoulders, his broad shoulders, and they're right there, so you can't miss them because everything is happening on top. And so you see these great epaulets, and they're kind of leather-like with sequins, and then you realize it's part of a chest plate. So he was obviously giving you some sort of a Carmina Burana warrior, and she was, I guess, the Firebird Carmina Burana princess, queen, and they gave it to you.
Yeah, it was good. I really liked these. It wasn't one sleeve, but one sleeve, although it was illusion, was almost like nude illusion with a little bit of dye. So this is really a thing.
Yeah.
Yes, this one sleeve sort of situation.
Right.
I like that when they match a little more. But in this situation, I really liked how they were separate, and he was that warrior. It really worked.
Yeah.
So.
All right. The free skate.
Yes.
They skated to, yes. We go from that. Free skate, they skated to Poeta en el Mar by Vicente Amigo and Amor Dulce Muerte, also by Vicente Amigo. I didn't make you pronounce these.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Flamenco. So it was a flamenco-inspired program, and they dressed the part, kind of, red and black costumes. But, I'm going to just say it. With these, I was underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You too?
Yeah.
I was underwhelmed. I'll give my part and then you give me your 2 cents. But I'll start with her. Again, love her. And everybody was talking about her for this free skate because she let her hair down, quote unquote. She normally, you see Deanna Stellato-Dudek wear a big, tight, slick chignon. I have to be, because this is what it's about, right? I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I would have rather seen the tight, slick back flamenco chignon.
Yeah.
It just looked a little like she didn't get ready in time. And then the costume itself, it had those, those Spanish typical, the embroidery, the applique, the lace, sequined lace, red and black. To me, it just wasn't at a refined or high-end level that they should be dressed as or look like. It looks store-bought to me.
Yeah, it just, for me, it was that it wasn't anything revolutionary. It wasn't anything, they weren't really pushing any boundaries. It was very traditional. Right. It was very typical. The skirt had a nice little drape to it in front. And it was very well done. Zoom in on it, and it's, it's a beautiful costume. It's just, it was what it was.
Even though it is such a trope, flamenco, and all that, you can still be so creative with it. And especially when you see fashion designers, and they do it. Look at John Galliano and how he conceptualized flamenco in his Dior couture collections. And there's so many other designers that do it, that you can do it where it's not so obvious.
And perfect example, Bradie, when she takes the ice in those costumes, you immediately take notice.
Yeah.
And I think with these, you just kind of are like, okay, they're figure skating costumes.
Yeah.
You want oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right, let's get to ice stands.
Yes. We are going to talk about Piper Gilles and Paul Poirier.
The favorites.
Yes.
Yeah, the favorites. They're in competition with Chalk and Bates, with the Americans.
Yes.
As basically who gonna get the goal?
Well,
these are...
But it's quite a year, because out of the blue, now we have Baudry and Cicerone.
And Lewis and Gibson. That's true.
So there's a few teams.
Oh, that's true. That's true. How can I forget?
It's exciting.
Yeah, how can I forget? All right, we're going to talk about the rhythm dance, as well as the free dance, because this is the first time that we've seen them, right?
Yes.
Skate Canada.
Yeah.
So this is their debut and the debut of their costumes. So for rhythm dance, the theme is 90s, and it's very controversial. People like it or they hate it. There's not even a middle ground. We like it because we know it harks us back to it harks me back when I was thin and cute and going to the club. So all that music. I don't know about Daddy David. What if it did the same thing to you? Did it?
No, I like the music. I don't have a problem with any of it. I think it's really fun.
When we actually if we're doing housework, and we do housework, by the way, and we put Spotify, and we always choose the 90s music, 90s house. We love Spotify. Anyhow, so 90s theme, and they skated to Supermodel You Better Work from RuPaul, as well as Right Said Fred. Of course, I'm too sexy for Milan, New York, and Japan. Did I do that good?
That was good.
Anyway, so they skated to that. So, of course, they got me at the music.
Yeah.
You know, you better work. And the music starts, and they gave, to me, they looked very Vegas or Paris Lido deck, you know, showgirl looks. Hers, she was wearing a white fitted corset, showgirl costume with like lapel-like details at the top, at the bust, and there was a pointed midriff, and there were just Swarovski crystals all over it, just jeweled sequins. It looked expensive. You know, and I also appreciate the little details. Like we talked about Lara Naki Goodman and her fishtail makeup. She also, if you look close, she had these crystal hair clips as well. So everything was thought out with her costume. And Paul Poirier, sexy, hot. He looked like he was the master of ceremonies. Like if I showed up in Paris to see a very expensive showgirl show, he would be the host. He would come out and I would just, that's it. Yeah. I'd be like, yes, the 500 euros I paid for this was all worth it. A white top with, you know, the crystals on the neck like a collar, again, like Swarovski crystal explosion, and then the black pants, and then a corset. So also he wore like a corset or a corset-like with the seaming detailed out with the crystals.
It was very Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
But it was also quite Thierry Mugler. Oh, so okay. I maybe that was a bit of the inspiration.
Okay. I would say more Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
For sure.
I think it ended up being a little more Moulin Rouge than Thierry Mugler.
Right.
But there are some Thierry Mugler corsets and outfits that look like what she's wearing. Okay. So I thought it was great. It did look expensive.
All right. So we're going to end with their free dance.
Yes.
And it's to Vincent, as in Vincent van Gogh or Van Gogh. And this is actually a program that they skated to before, right? When did they skate to this?
Was it 2019? Is that what I remember?
2018. 18. 19, that season, I think. Yeah. And so they knew that it was an emotional and a very fan favorite free dance program. So, but they didn't want to repeat it. You know, skate for skate. And so they said that they decided to call, this is what they said, we decided to call the program Vincent Reimagined. And that's what Paul said. While the theme and the story and the music are familiar, there are a lot of changes. That's what he said. 7 years have passed since. And they said, we're different skaters, we're different people. And so anyway, so they skated to this. And I have to say that first, I had my take on what I thought of the costumes. But first, of course, I went on the Twitter sphere to read what the fans and the stands were saying, and a lot of people had mixed reviews on the costumes, especially her dress.
Yeah.
The fans were not particularly happy about the print. It's a printed dress, by the way. It's a printed dress, and it's one shoulder, and the print is very obvious. Immediately, it hits you. It hits you on the nose because it's the actual kind of print. It's not even kind of. It is the print of Vincent van Gogh and the Starry Night and his, you know, famous painting. And so it's got the blue, and then it's got the sunburst-like yellow that represents the moon bright in the sky.
Yeah, so the dress was a lot. It was a lot. It was the print from head to toe. And I kept looking at it going, what would I have done if I were designing this? And I liked how the print was on the bodice, and then it was beaded over the print at the bodice.
Right.
And then when it went to the skirt, it was the exact same print, but just not beaded, and it was very busy. And maybe if the print had sort of faded away or ombre'd into a solid color, it wouldn't have been so much.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a way to have that print sort of dissipate into nothingness.
Yeah. But they are known to change costumes. Last season, I think they
Change your costumes. Please.
I think last season they changed their short program costume every single
Oh, because it was Barbie, wasn't it? Or something like that?
Yes, it was something along that lines. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow, that's right.
Yeah, so maybe they'll change it.
Yeah, I think it can be done in a more elegant way, especially, once again, it's the Olympics. They all need to give it. They need to go haute couture, not ready to wear when it comes to the costumes.
Okay, Fashion Daddy Nick, that's it for Skate Canada.
Adieu. Bye, Canada.
Adieu. We are on our virtual jet.
Flying business class.
Yes, to Japan.
Oh, that's next.
That's NHK Trophy is next in Japan.
In Osaka, Japan, or Osaka.
Yes.
Japan. Oh, we really are racking up our virtual frequent flyer miles. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'd be like, upgrade, lounge access.
But we got some great new skates. Yuma Kageyama.
Yes.
The Shibutanis are back.
Oh, they're back.
Yes. Sui and Han again.
Okay.
We've got the Italian ice dance team again. Fear and Gibson.
Oh yeah. So there's good stuff.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff. Okay.
All right. I can't wait.
Okay.
Come back.
Like, subscribe, and share to keep up with all the Fashion Daddy inside dish.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. The Fashion Daddies is created and hosted by David Paul and Nick Varios. It's produced, edited, sound mixed, and scenic designed by David Paul. I'm just here to entertain.